got the monster you see right there. He's 5'5", 67.5-inch reach. He has a record of 24-0 with 21 big KOs. He's fighting out of Tokyo. He last beat Paul Butler. That was in 2022, early or late, in 2022, which was in December. Also has 2 wins over Nonito Donaire, past the Nonito Donaire, but still pretty effective. As far as his resume, it's one that I think is based on name recognition. I think it's kind of mediocre. You know what I'm saying? But boy has some skills, and I'll get to that in a second. You got Cool Boy Steph. He is 5'6.5", 70.5-inch reach, fighting out of Philadelphia. He has a record of 21-0 with 8 KOs. Those 8 KOs are, to me, a little bit misleading. I think he can, put some of his opponents, at least he can, deter them. It's not like they're just going to be running up in there on him. I don't know about as far as one-punch knockout power. Maybe to the body, he can stop, his opponents, but I think the 8 KOs is kind of misleading. He's coming off the Daniel Romain fight that he had last year, and so he's going to be having over a year layoff going into this fight right here. Also has a win over Brandon Figueroa, in which he collected Figueroa's belts there. Now, so this fight right here, I was going to play out. You got the monster. The monster, he's highly accomplished, like Danny said. As far as the skills are concerned, the brother has power, man. Naoya has some serious zap on his punches, at least against the fighters that he's faced. I don't think that you can, fake power, you know what I'm saying? Because it seems like everybody he hits, if he catch you clean, you're going to feel some type of way about that. And I don't think in this fight that's going to necessarily not be the case. I think that Stephen Fulton, I don't think he's faced somebody with that kind of zap on their punches. Now, Figueroa is a big, thumping type puncher. He was big for the weight division, but not like the monster Naoya. That left hook, Felix Trinidadish. I'm telling you, it's a zapping left hook. He does some monster work to the body. He catches dudes also when they least expect it. I don't know how sound defensively he is, but when you try to exchange with him, he's lining you up for those power shots. So that's going to be concerning. And they're talking about this wrap situation where they're saying he uses kind of like a plaster type thing, where if he's able to do that, then that's going to spell trouble. Stephen Fulton's camp is saying that if they attempt to do that, they're not fighting. And so hopefully that won't be the case. And hopefully it won't be like Margarito when he got caught having a plaster, and then once he started fighting without the plaster, he hit like Paulie Malignaggi. You understand me? So we'll see. As far as Fulton, based on who I've seen him face, man, the young man, he has a lot of speed, nice angles that he uses, very solid jab, good at infighting when he wants to, great body work, real smooth, and he's pretty big for 122 pounds as well. Hopefully because I know he was thinking about moving up to 126, hopefully this fight isn't one too many at 122 pounds, but we'll see. Now, as far as the fight prediction, Naoya is like a 3-1 favorite in this, and I'm surprised because Cool Boy is really, I think he's on the cusp of being a pound-for-pound type caliber guy. But again, each guy hasn't faced, Naoya hasn't faced a smooth African-American type fighter either. And so that could just befuddle him in this one. Let me take a look at one last little thing just to be, okay, so he is orthodox. If I had to say how I think this fight is going to play out there in Tokyo, they're going to be fighting at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time by the time the main event starts. Kuba should be acclimated, to how things are over there. I don't think that that's going to play a factor. I just think that in a situation like this, if I had to lean towards one guy, I would go with chalk as far as Naoya. And the reason why, I just think at certain points in some of those exchanges, he might clip Schoolboy. And I just haven't seen Schoolboy fight somebody with that type of zap on their punches. And again, on the flip side of that, it could be where he's just befuddling the mess out of Naoya. That could very well happen because Naoya, to me, didn't really look as good as I thought that he would against Butler last time, who was a boxer. And so Schoolboy is way more talented than him. So I can see it going that way. But if I'm just going to make a prediction, I'm going to say the monster. I'm going to say a 10-round TKO victory. What about you guys?
Morning, I'm just recording your prediction. 10th round stoppage, all right?
Hey, you got all those predictions, Danny, man? You got them all?
Yeah.
All right, so make sure, man, it's written in stone. We've been off the wall with a few of them.
Yes, sir. Great breakdown, Will. When I look at it, it would be easier to try to call if Inoue already had a fight at 122. So we're kind of trying to project a little bit, and in addition to predict, Now, what I do know about him, very sharp jab, very sharp jab. His jab alone was rattling, Donaire, who's a bigger fighter. He's a great counter puncher, almost technically perfect. Everything that he does has a purpose. On the other hand, he can sometimes move back in a straight line. He can also sometimes move in the direction of the opponent's strong hand, which isn't going to do him any favors in this one. Fulton, even though he has a reach advantage here, he's a very good end fighter, both with his punch selection and with kind of using his size. Like, I'll see him kind of push guys off him at the right time, so he can get off what he wants to get off. He's also a great counter puncher from the outside, has some really good footwork, However, even though he's a great counter puncher, he can be susceptible to the counter. His head movement isn't great, and sometimes he uses the high guard, which can make him susceptible to body shots. I don't know if that's something that they're, dealing with in camp or anything of that nature. But, both of the fighters, they're pretty complete. They fought top world-level competition. I think if Fulton can keep the fight inside, he has a good chance of winning. There's a really strong case to be made for either of these fighters, and it's another genuine 50-50 fight. Like in terms of our predictions, you were talking about, Avell, in terms of the predictions, this week can change, some things a little bit. This is a head and heart prediction, right? Because the heart, I want to see my American, not just my American, but my Black American brother, Cool Boy, pull it off, But, over in Japan, it's hard to see a generational talent like Inoue taking the L, especially by decision. And I don't think, even though Cool Boy has power, I don't think he has the power to knock out or stop Inoue. And it's hard for me to see him getting a decision over there. Although Fulton is a champ, he's almost like the challenger in the sense that, the fight is in Japan. And, I'm not confident in it, but the head, I'm gonna say Inoue by decision. I can see him getting a stoppage. I can see him getting a decision he may not deserve, but I'm gonna go with decision. That's gonna be my smart money prediction. What about you, Bill?
Yeah, like you said, this is the other big one. Not a lot of people are talking about this one, outside of us boxing fans, but this is a true 50-50 fight, one of those ones, somebody though got to go. There's a lot of story leading into this fight. Inoue is like his fourth weight class he's fought in. He's taking on Fulton, who they say is the underdog, but this is Fulton's first weight class, and he's big for that weight class, so that all is going to play into this fight. Fulton is very, very slick, but he also can bang. He do all these things. He's probably the most all-around fighter that Inoue has fought. The only other one is I would say is Donaire, but Donaire doesn't really fight exactly like Fulton. He can't do everything that Fulton that currently can do. So I do think Fulton does have more power than his record suggests, but he isn't really a puncher. But I do like the way that he did stand in there and bang with Brandon Figueroa. It would show me a lot of things, even in the fight that some people thought he lost, but even in that fight, man, he showed he has an engine. He can bang. He can stand in there. He didn't get hurt in that fight. So I do think he's durable. But I also think that Inoue is one of those sharpshooters. When he hits you, it's different than hitting you with heavy hands like a Figueroa would. When he hits you, it just stuns you. But I don't think he's as active as Figueroa is. So I do think that Fulton is smart enough to outmaneuver and push Inoue around. I think he's savvy enough to even try that with Inoue. I do think Inoue will land some real hard shots on Fulton that will get his attention and the judge's attention. But I do see Fulton being more active and winning a split decision over the monster Inoue in a fight where Inoue hits him with hard shots, but Fulton will be more active. And just like Danny, you said, I can see actually, just like what I just predicted with the Crawford Spence. I can see Fulton winning this fight and then them stealing it from him in Japan and giving it to Inoue. But this is where a little bit of my hope is still going to stay. I see Fulton winning this fight by split decision.
Why is Vail putting this in the air? You understand what I'm saying? Can't we just have optimism going into these fights and not?
No, not after some of the stuff I saw in this last 6 months in boxing and even yesterday. No, I'm not optimistic. I'm a realist.
It's like you go out of town with somebody and then they just keep saying like, "Well, man, be careful. Let's do." You like, man, it's going to happen. You keep saying, you're putting this stuff in the air. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, let me go ahead and get this nonsense. Ty got up here talking about 2016 knockout from Bud. Let me go to my boy Bryce. You are a true, supporter of the show, man. One love to you, baby boy. Love how you talk. Love your energy. You understand what I'm saying? Let's see what you had to say. Oh, you say you got Spence by unanimous decision. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. But it could go either way. I don't like that part, Bryce. I feel like Crawford could get a stoppage. Let's cut the nonsense. Once he reads Spence, he said, I feel that Spence pressure needs to play a big role on his defense to be on point. Some of that you got correct. Some of that I totally disagree with, sir. Anything else you guys have on, this week in general, man? You know what I mean? You got 2 major league fight cards, 2 major league main events. It's like the World Series of Boxing is at the end of July. What more can you ask for? So any final thoughts before we go into our next phase?
It's going to be a great week in boxing. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, man, tune into us too, man. We're going to be, we'll come back on that. It looks like around maybe, I don't know what time you fellas will be available, but I know I'm going to be available later on afternoon on Wednesday, or is that Tuesday, to, talk about what we saw.
Yeah, it'll be Tuesday evening sometime.
Yeah, we can do Tuesday evening. Even after Spence Crawford, I might be available 1 in the morning.
I'm gonna let y'all do.
The bask in my glory.
That's what's up. But I'm gonna let y'all boys handle that, because I don't know how that's gonna work while I'm out there in Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. But what are your thoughts, Danny? As far as this week.
I'm excited, man. It's almost, surreal to get a week like this. And so, we're getting top pound for pound competition, across the board, at the smaller guys, kind of the medium-sized guys, even the women, we'll get into it when we get into it. But Sinisa Estrada, the lady she's fighting, she's no pushover, So it's just going to be good fights across the board. I know the energy is going to be crazy in Vegas, which could have been out there, but I'm just excited, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. But shout out to the guys for making these fights. 2023 has just been amazing, man. Like they want to say what that Benavidez, like once Benavidez and Plant started, you had Tank and Ryan, and then it's just like I said, kind of spiraled and snowballed into what we have this week. 2 major league, probably 3 of the top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world. Schoolboy is not too far from being in a pound for pound. He's definitely going to be in a pound for pound if he gets this victory. So shout out to all of these guys, Inoue for stepping up, you know what I mean? Because he could have easily tried to attempt to take on another fighter, but that's a tall order And then also Schoolboy for, going out there to Japan, because the deck is definitely stacked against them. You know what I mean? And so we'll see how that goes, man. Next week,
y'all subscribe to the Last Ones at the Bar Boxing channel, man. We got some boxing fans out there.
Last Ones at the Bar exclusively talks about the sport of boxing